Welcome to this week's episode of Baseball Family. Today we have Acuna out for the year, Angel Hernandez retiring, and Panic or Patience right now.
9 Plus Us presents the Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Blackjack Brad and Kansas City Little Big Briggy Blue Eyes. And now, Baseball Together.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, Baseball Family. My name is Brad, and I am driving this ship with my co-captain, Mr. Brig. How are you today, Mr. Brig?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You know, that was something I forgot about until I was at your place last week, and the neighbor kids all calling you Mr. Brig.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I forget that's not a thing everywhere else at this point. I don't know any different.
Very southern thing. But
yep.
Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff. Like we were gonna get started tonight. We're kind of like, oh, there's a thing here, there. Well, but what about this? What about this and this and this?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. We have some fun things to talk about, some fascinating things to talk about, and also some not so fun or fascinating things to talk about. The first of them being Ronald Acuna Jr. is out for the year.
Yeah.
He tore his left ACL on, what was this, Saturday night?
Mm-hmm.
Sunday night.
Sunday night, not Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. My days are all messed up with this holiday thing today. So Sunday night, Sunday's game, he tore his ACL, limped off the field. I think we were all hoping that it was kind of like, maybe he just like jammed it, right? Not that big of a deal, but no, he tore his ACL, so he's going to be out for the year.
Yeah.
Mind you, in 2021, he needed surgery on a right ACL that he tore about the same time of year. That one was a non-contact injury out in right field on the warning track. I believe he was going to make a catch, and it just didn't work out for him. The Braves currently, as of Sunday, are 30-20, 6 back in their division. But it's not going well. It's
not going well at all.
30-20.
No, it seems like it's a nightmare situation the last few days. I mean,
yeah. So, do you think
his injury?
Do you think the Braves are in legitimate trouble now, or is this just kind of like one thing on top of another?
I think it's stacking. I think it's one thing on top of another, but I do think that they need to stop the bleeding. This is not anybody's fault, this Acuna injury thing. I think nobody could have seen this coming. This is you can't really add this to the list other than of misfortune. But it's just it doesn't help. You talk about what is this going to do in the clubhouse? How's this going to throw the dynamic out of whack? You know, who are they going to get to platoon around? Do they feel confident in that? I don't know. Because Kelenic is already playing full-time left. And then is it Michael Harris II that's already stationed full-time center field these days?
So Kelenic and Duvall were supposed to be platooning. Have they not been doing that? Like they I think they were, because Duvall came in to pinch hit for him when we were at the game on Monday.
Right, but I'm saying now if you have Acuna out, don't you have to move Duvall to right? And then what are you going to do?
I would think
do you have any depth now?
Well, I mean, they could do what they did in 2021 and go out and get some guys and go win the World Series.
Yeah, they could.
They
their rabbit's foot.
Weren't they under 500 at the All-Star break or close
Honestly,
to it?
I don't remember, but I remember thinking that the turn of events made no sense, like looking back on it.
It was bizarre because it got to a point where it was like, wow, okay, the Braves are toast. But then all of a sudden they weren't anymore. Yeah. So I'm going to check real quick because I can't remember for sure. But first half, they were 40-45 in the first half of the 2021 season. And they went on a tear with 44-28. So
maybe, I hate to say it, I don't want to jinx anybody, but that would be interesting if the dude going down was the secret sauce. That sucks. Just thinking about that's terrible. But Acuna's final stats on the season now are 49 games total, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. Just a cursory overview of what he's done. That's just not enough. We wanted a lot more.
coming off his MVP season. Well, so in 2021, actually played 82 games.
Okay.
So it was a little
I knew it
after.
was more.
Yeah, it was a little after this that he got injured last time.
Yeah.
And then he had 24 homers, and anyway. So
Yeah.
and the thing is too is that he was off to a rough start so far this year too. I'm not saying that it's like kind of a relief, but because you never want that dude to go down, right?
No,
Like
never.
I shouldn't even say it that way anyway. But so
Just
I
glad
thought
we
this
got
is
to see him
interesting.
play.
You what?
I'm just glad we got to see him play.
Yeah, me too. At this point, absolutely, most
Like
definitely.
that. How fortunate, you know?
So I thought this is interesting because I'm always curious about guys who tend to get injured a lot or re-injure, things like that. So I have a buddy who is in sports medicine. He is a doctor.
Doctor.
And Dr. Johnson is his name. So he said there's a 30% possibility of tearing the opposite ACL after reconstruction on a torn ACL. So, and that's up to 30%. They don't know why. They're not sure. He's like, there's not a whole lot of research as to why, because people don't really care that much as to why a person will tear their opposite ACL after they've torn their one, but up to a 30% chance. So that to me is like, that's crazy that it's even that high.
Right. And the fact that we don't know anymore because it's not interesting enough to spend money on is also really interesting.
Although I think it's fascinating, but
I think so, because the easy answer is, well, he's compensating, right? Clearly, there's extra strain being placed upon the other joint due to the, limited strength and capability, even cognitively, right? Even mentally, you're like, I don't trust it like I used to.
well, they talk
right?
about that with quarterbacks a lot.
Yeah.
That when they come back from an injury, it's like, okay, especially like an arm, it's like, well, or like a lower
Just
body,
cheating
whatever.
a little bit
Like,
this way. And
yeah, I feel like a quarterback with like a knee, they're like, well, he's not pushing off his back leg as much, stuff like that. But I don't think that's the case with Acuna. He stole 70 plus bags last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
So-
I'm just saying, like, it is interesting because there is no evidence to support the fact that he was cheating one side or the other, or that he was,
Yeah.
in any way encumbered mentally or otherwise,
Yeah, I agree. It is interesting.
Poor
So
guy. Sorry, Braves fans.
We both wish him a speedy recovery and that he comes back next year and steals 70 bags again, because that would be outstanding. Let's talk about Justin Verlander. So he now holds the 10th spot all time on strikeouts because he's been around forever. Not saying he's a compiler, but it takes a long time to get there.
3-time Cy Young Award winner. You can't really call that a compiler.
Right. He's been a stud for a very long time. He passed Greg Maddux, 3,371 strikeouts all time. Finished the game. What day was it? Saturday, Sunday? Again, my days are
off too. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday, but I'll look it up, bro. I'll look it up for you right now.
Okay. He finished the game just 1 earned run, 8 hits over 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, takes his total to 3,377. His career 260th win. He is so his next mark would be Walter Johnson, 8th all time.
Yeah. He did it on Friday. So, there it is.
Okay, Friday. Okay.
Friday in Oakland.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I was doing on Friday.
This feels like 100 years ago.
It does. So Walter Johnson would be next at 3,509. I don't think he's going to get there.
I don't think so.
Because I don't know how much longer he pitches after this year. I know that he's probably got thinks he has some in the tank, but honestly, he's old guy. So,
well, he might. I don't know. I can see him doing the 1 year sort of thing, coming back and just pushing it as far as he possibly can into next year. I could see that.
I think so. Well, and this is the thing too, is that so he strikes out a couple hundred guys a year. Struck out 300 in 2019. Wasn't even the league leader. And 144 last year. So with strikeouts the way they are in baseball, maybe if he comes back another year or two.
He's only 132 strikeouts away.
I don't think he gets them this year, but if he comes back next year, then he'll.
That's what I was thinking. I don't think he gets them this year either, but he could next year if they give him a sweetheart deal or some kind of thing.
Yeah,
You could see that.
I could see that as well.
He's not getting the 7th, though. All-time Gaylord Perry, 3,534.
That's only another
Oh.
25.
Yeah, but to go from 130 to 157 or whatever that is, like, I don't know.
He could.
It's possible.
I think he could. If he's going to catch Walter Johnson, he's going to catch Gaylord Perry.
Think so?
I think so. Yeah.
Before it all falls apart.
Before it all falls apart.
Okay. All right, let's see it.
Yeah.
We want to know what you think, baseball family. Is he going to do it? Are they going to sign him to a 1-year deal? Is he going to finally go back to Detroit? That would be cool.
That would be cool, and that would be a place he could do it too.
Yeah.
He could also do it in the West. The Mariners strike out more than anybody, so
yeah, he could do it in the West. I'm not worried about it being in Houston either.
Just faces the Mariners enough. Heck, faces the Mariners so many times the rest of this year, he might do it this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, can I do the next one? I'm really excited to talk about this.
Do it. Yeah, I can tell you're excited about this one.
So Drew Pomeranz, for those of you that don't know who that is, he hasn't played in 3 years or so don't worry about it. It's like no big deal. San Francisco Giants just signed Drew Pomeranz to a 3-year Major League Baseball contract, not even a minor league deal. He spent all 8 games of his career this season in Oklahoma City with the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers. And he hasn't pitched in Major League Baseball since 2021 when he was with the Padres. And he's now 35 years old. In 8 games this season, he has a 6.00 ERA over 9 total innings. Now, okay, San Francisco has won, like 7 or 8 in a row now? 6 in a row? It's at least 6 in a row as of tonight.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, you look for me. Matt Chapman seems to be back. Things are cooking. Everything seems to, whatever the kinks were, have worked themselves out this last stretch.
They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 1. They're streaking.
Yeah, see, I kept trying to talk myself out of how good I remember them being. I'm like, off the top of my head, I feel like they've been doing as well as I think. Anyway, the point of the story is the San Francisco Giants and all of Major League Baseball are so desperate to not sign Trevor Bauer that they're going to reach down to AAA Oklahoma City and pull a guy who's 35 and has a 6.0 ERA over 9 innings. Yeah. Let that sink in for a minute. Nope.
It is.
Boo!
It is.
Boo!
So there we got a comment on YouTube. It was either YouTube or TikTok. I think it was YouTube. Somebody said, "Oh, look at that! A major leaguer is pitching and dominating in the minors in Mexico." I'm like,
yeah.
As he should be. You're right.
Right. Yeah.
But the fact that he is, and he's as dominant as he is, says something compared to a guy like Drew Pomeranz, who has been pitching this way in AAA, not Major League Baseball, AAA.
Yeah.
Which is probably the talent level in AAA is probably considerably better than it is in the Mexican League. Okay.
Sure.
But a 6 ERA over 9 innings pitched. That translates directly to Brig. 6 runs given up over 9 innings.
Yeah. I see
that you've got to think that Bauer is better than that. That he's still got it.
Well, we know he's better than that. He is. I'm pulling up his stats right now because I've had it. Like, I was already angry tonight, and now I'm really angry. So in the Mexican League, which is independent, he is sitting at a 1.50 ERA.
How many innings pitched?
He has pitched, we're at 42 total innings pitched. That's better than 6 earned runs over 9 innings in AAA. Not only is Trevor Bauer pitching well in Mexico, he is setting records pitching in Mexico. Okay? He is blowing people out of their freaking socks. They don't know what to do with him. They have no idea. A 1.50 ERA.
Okay, and Brig, consider this. We were told the other day by someone who has worked with Trevor Bauer,
yes,
that he is so mechanically sound That his mechanics are better than anybody's.
Yeah.
And because of that, you do not have to worry about an injury with Trevor Bauer.
Right. So let him have his weirdo warm-up routine. Brad, I'm going to give you roll the dice. How many home runs do you think he's given up over 42 innings pitched this season in
I'm
Mexico?
going to say 3.
1, Brad. 1.
I thought maybe two other guys were able to toss their bat out there and get one to go over.
No. He has 62 strikeouts. 62. All I'm saying is everybody take that and put it in your blog and post it, okay? Call somebody, figure it out. Why are we bringing up Drew Pomeranz when we have Trevor Bauer just wallowing in obscurity and who should be dominating on the bump in the bigs? I don't get it. I'm very upset. Roll the tape, Brad.
My last thing on this is that you have people around the league saying he has support from managers, players, GMs even. It's the owners who are the problem.
Yeah.
And the commissioner.
Certainly.
Most likely above all, the commissioner, who is the problem.
Well, but he's being paid by the owners. So like
he
just does what they say. So
it's a trickle down to him from the owners. You're right.
I think Absolutely.
So. Yeah.
All right.
It's absurd. All right, let's move on. Time for the ump show. There's a lot this week. It was a rough weekend for umpires this weekend. Like, not great. So let's start with Bryce Harper. Brother Harper, as we like to call him.
Brother Harper.
He got ejected the other day on Friday's game in Denver. So he got called out on strikes. And let's look at this because usually when Bryce Harper is ejected, okay, go ahead. Usually when Bryce Harper is ejected, he's screaming at the umpire, throwing his helmet, pitching a tantrum. This looks like a very calm conversation. So what? There it is. And I don't think he said a word to an umpire that you don't say, right?
No.
Like,
not that's beneath him. He'll do it.
Right. He would, but I don't feel like that was the tone of the conversation.
No.
Right? Like, it didn't even look like he was arguing balls and strikes, which is an automatic ejection every time. I understand. But he seems legitimately confused.
So, Brother Harper is quoted having said, quote, "I'm not trying to get thrown out in the first inning in Colorado. Obviously, and they went on to lose, by the way. It's a bummer, man." So then he keeps going. This is all according to NBC Sports Philadelphia, Corey Seidman. Brother Harper says, "I could have hit a double in the gap or a homer and the game's changed, like immediately, right? The game's changed. I don't know. I just kind of bummed out that this happened. I didn't feel like I should have." And he's right. It shouldn't have happened. I don't get it. So then crew chief Vic Carapazza, who was not the home plate umpire, but he was on the crew, obviously. He is quoted having said, "What led to the ejection was that Bryce Harper was clearly upset about the pitches. And Brian Walsh, the home plate umpire, gave him a long leash." So, baseball family, what you saw was him giving Bryce Harper a long leash. Yeah. And then they do come out and say he was arguing balls and strikes, and that was it. The guy was like, "That's it. You got to give it to you. You're out."
At the end of the day, equipment violation is basically a big warning, and if you continue to talk about pitches, then Brian had to handle it. That was the rest of that quote. Like, and he
threw his helmet down.
Okay, who doesn't?
So, right, but I'm just saying, like, contextually, there was also that's what they mean by the equipment thing.
Yeah,
lost his helmet, and then continued to talk about it.
It's so bizarre, but it's so bizarre that he can't just stand there and like let the umpire know, like, "Hey, I thought it was outside. It looked outside." Like maybe he was disparaging him. We don't know. We couldn't tell
for sure.
But that is a very bizarre interaction for him to get thrown out like that.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't.
Am I wrong?
Good. You're not wrong. Then the optics are bad, and in a season where the optics could not be worse already, this is not a good look. Like, have some self-awareness, read the room, figure it out. That's what I said. I said figure it out.
Well, and maybe give him and we couldn't see the umpire if he was saying anything to him because his back was to the camera. We couldn't see if he was like, "Okay, you need to stop. You need to stop. I'm going to toss you."
Could have.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, one of them needs a puppers. Okay, let's talk about Cody Bellinger.
Yeah. Okay, Cody. But we want to skip to Cody Bellinger. Or we want to talk about Gunnar Henderson.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I blew right past.
Okay, let's talk Gunnar
right.
Henderson and the Orioles against the White Sox. So this happened Thursday night. I think it was either as we were live or just after. Anyway, so there's one out in the ninth inning, the bottom of the ninth inning, and the White Sox have runners on first and second. High pop up, and Gunnar Henderson is playing behind second base. He comes in to make the catch. And as he comes in, you can see here, okay, there's the high pop up. Gunnar Henderson's coming in. You can see him coming in from the top of the screen there. And then he comes in and makes the catch. The umpire's already ruled out because of the infield fly. One out, runners on first and second. But look here, this little swim move that he makes. I don't know if he even, he barely grazed him.
If that.
The umpire called interference.
On the part of the runner. Yeah.
Yeah, and so game over.
Yep. With a runner in scoring position.
Yes. And
Not
I believe
okay.
it was a 1-run or 2-run game. It was close. It was a
closer game. Yeah.
So this is the thing about this, though. Like, baseball family, Brig and I looked up the rule because we were curious. And this is what it says. It says a runner who is adjudged, to have hindered a fielder who is attempting to make a play on a batted ball is out whether it was intentional or not. And that's one of the things on this. Is not like a lot of people are arguing, from what I've seen over the last few days, that he had his back to Gunnar Henderson. It's like, how could he be interfering if he doesn't know that he's there? He had his back to Henderson as he was coming in. So I get that part of it, right? But
so within the letter of the law, it was
interference
adjudicated appropriately.
Right. Yes, it was. But in reality,
come on,
he got to that ball with plenty of time to make the play. It was still a routine fly ball. And I don't know. If I'm a White Sox fan, I'm a little salty. Or you just like, that's the way the year's gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. Well, and it just doesn't help. Nobody's winning in this situation. Nobody. Even the Baltimore Orioles, who won the game, they don't want to win that way. That doesn't look good. Right?
Well, Gunnar Henderson looks so confused. Like, look at the way he's looking around after this call was made, because he's just like, wait, what? Like, interference? Where? So he pitched a tent
right
under
here.
that ball.
He what?
Like,
huh?
Yeah, like what? Who interfered?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. I'd be the same way, because he was camped under that ball for an hour.
For an hour is right.
I don't know. It's so bizarre. So, okay, now let's go on to Bellinger.
Oh, yeah. This is exciting.
Okay. So, Cody Bellinger's on second base. Cubs are playing the Cardinals. Go ahead and push play.
I will.
Got Sonny Gray on the mound. Pickoff. Bellinger was like a mile off the base. Oh, and right there, he's called out for being outside the base path. Okay.
What? Huh? What?
Initially, look at this. So initially, Arenado didn't have. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see me doing this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Initially, Arenado didn't have the ball. Right there.
Yeah.
Initially, Arenado didn't have the ball, so Bellinger went to go around him. That's fair.
That's
I feel
fair.
like, right? And
should be.
But since Arenado didn't have the ball, it's kind of like, okay, that feels like obstruction. But this is why it's not. Again, we looked at the rule. If a fielder is about to receive a thrown ball, and if the ball is in flight directly toward and near enough to the fielder so he must occupy his position to receive the ball, he may be considered in the act of fielding a ball. It is entirely up to the judgment of the umpire as to whether a fielder is in the act of fielding a ball. So because he was trying to field the ball, it's not obstruction.
Right.
But Bellinger did the thing he was supposed to do and went around him. He wasn't trying to avoid a tag. Arenado didn't have a ball to tag him with yet.
Exactly.
That's the problem I have with this.
Yep. And it's this part where it says it's entirely up to the judgment of the umpire as to whether the fielder is in the act of fielding the ball. Now, we know that that's what was happening. I think that's irrefutable. But why, when there was no opportunity for the out to have been made by the team, is the umpire taking it into their hands to call him out?
Now, I will take a look real quick at this. So the umpire is standing next to third base, right? Arenado has his back to third base. He's facing second base when he's going to catch this ball. So this is the thing that I do wonder about is like, look at the proximity of the ball to the glove when Bellinger goes around him.
There's a good angle right
here. You
here.
can see it right here. Like the umpire may not have known where the ball was exactly.
Sure.
Like that's the only thing I can think of is that maybe he thought the ball was already in his glove when Bellinger went around, but he was past him by the time.
Yeah.
He got the ball. So,
yeah.
And unfortunately, these judgment calls are not reviewable.
They're not.
So it's absurd.
Welcome to the Ump Show.
Yeah,
the 2024 Ump Show. Man.
But I feel like things are just about to get a little bit better, Britt.
Oh, yeah.
As Angel Hernandez is retiring.
Yeah, baby. He retires today.
We're just going to live it up for a minute.
Yeah, dance with us. Celebrate. Come on, baseball family. We got no moves, and neither do you. You watch us, you don't have to watch you. It's good. Come on now. This is a preview of what happens before every Thursday Night Live, by the way. That little intro music we have there, we boogie down a little bit while we're waiting to get on the show. And it's bad dancing. We don't care. We're just really excited that Angel Hernandez will no longer be MLB's evil angel. That's right. This will be the last time.
This is according to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, said that Angel Hernandez will be retiring officially Tuesday, today when this show comes out. We're very excited, and we found the winning tweet regarding this retirement. This is Jesse Spector on X. It says Angel Hernandez, financial advisor, has been trying to tell him for the last 3 years that he's set to retire. He just missed all the calls.
Everybody go give Jesse Spector some love because that is the best thing I've heard all day.
It's the best. It's such a good tweet. Or is it a post, or what do they call it on X? I don't know. Anyway, I don't care because that's hilarious.
Who cares? Yeah.
So now it's just down to CB Buckner.
CB Buckner. Oh, boy.
Anyway.
Then what are we going to do?
Hey.
We need a new Cowboy Joe.
All right, let's wrap it up with today in baseball history. Today in baseball history, May the 28th, 1994, Dave Winfield passes Rod Carew, taking the 15th place on the all-time list with hit number 3,054. That's a lot of hits.
Boy, I'm telling you.
I can't believe how many guys are part of the 3,000 hit club, because you think about how many guys have played Major League Baseball and then how many guys have 3,000 hits. I'm shocked that it's as many as it is. I know it's not very many, but
yeah.
Anyway, with that,
did you know I did the math? No, I did the math, and it.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't do the math. I looked it up. Who am I kidding? I looked it up. Not doing the math. I looked it up, and there are just over 21,000 people who've ever played Major League Baseball in the history of the game.
It's not very many.
That's it. It's about 21 and change.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's only that many over 150 years.
Yeah,
whatever.
And you know what's funny? So baseball's been around 150 years. Let's just round it. Okay. There are 33 batters who have ever made 3,000 hits or more. You think of baseball and you do the percentage math on that, and just off the top of my head, that's batting about 280. It's got to be 250, between 250 and 280, right? Do it, Brad. Do the math, Brad.
So what? Get to 3,000 hits?
150 divided by 33.
Oh, 33 divided by 150?
Or there you go. See, I can't even
220.
say the math.
It's 220.
220. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball with its averages. We got to love it.
Well, think about this, though. 21,000. It's not even batting that, because it's batting 0.15%.
Yeah, that sounds right. 0.15%?
Not 1.5, 0.15% of players have 3,000 hits.
Okay, well, unbelievable. I have to sit with that for a minute.
I'll let you sit with that. And we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to actually play a game called Panic or Patience, something we like to do every month. But before we do that, let's remind you about Chinook Seedery. Head over to ChinookSeedery.com and get the best seeds ever. These are legitimately the best seeds we've ever had. I tried them and I told Brig, Brig, best seeds I've ever had. Let's reach out and see if we can get some kind of arrangement with them. And we do. And the arrangement is, if you use code BTPOD at checkout, you can save 10% off your order, support your mouth, and support the show while getting the best seeds ever. I am a big fan of pretty much every flavor. Hatch chili, cinnamon toast, smokehouse barbecue. Brig always and forever will be a massive fan of Parmesan and pepper.
Yeah.
So head over to ChinookSeedery.com, use code BTPOD to save 10% at checkout. And you can, like I said, support yourself, support the show, and the baseball family. We'll be right back with Panic or Patience. Welcome back, baseball family. It is that time of the month where we're going to go through and talk about panic or patience. Which team should be panicking based on their performance thus far? That's right, Brig. I said thus. Or
You
who
did.
should be having patience based on the talent that they have despite their performance thus far.
Nailed it.
We're going to kind of live at the bottom of the standings, middle to the bottom of the standings, right? And as we always do, we're going to start with the American League East.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Thursday night, we did talk about the Boston Red Sox as contenders or pretenders.
Yep.
26 and 24 going into today, this previously recorded episode, by the way. So numbers are just a smidgen off based on what you're getting on Tuesday. But because of the holiday, we're doing this. So the Boston Red Sox, 26 and 24 today, with their 5-5 in the last 10, 4-game winning streak, plus 39 run differential. And overall,
Right.
they're 7 and 15 against teams over 500. Are you having patience or are you panicking with the Red Sox?
Honestly, I'm having patience. I think that they're, like I said on Thursday, they're being helped by the Jays and the Rays who've been doing poorly, which doesn't necessarily translate to a winning record, for the other people, the other teams. I'm just saying the plus 39 run differential is a big deal. They're not that far out of the wild card situation because they're a half a game back as of today, and it's Friday. So that's going to change. Excuse me. That's going to change a little bit between now and Monday. But yeah, I what it comes down to for me is that if they were in any other division, they would be killing it,
right?
In the American League. So yeah, patience.
Well, actually, they'd be in the same spot in the Central, which is weird to say because historically that's been the weakest division. But
Yeah,
right now, it's right on par with the AL East. They'd be sitting on top, almost. They'd be in second place in the AL West, right behind the
they would
Mariners.
be in
They'd be right
second
on their
place in the
heels.
West. Yeah,
Right on their heels, though. So I
yeah.
agree with you, though. Have patience. There's no reason to panic with this team. Like we said, tons of talent to go around. When everything's clicking, they're going to play really well. I don't think they can catch the Orioles or the Yankees because they're overmatched there. But there's nothing wrong with the wild card spot. So just have patience with this team.
Yep.
I agree. Now let's go down to the Rays. The Rays are 25 and 26, 9.5 back in the division, 2 back in the wild card, 5-5 in their last 10, 4-game losing streak, and minus 40 run differential, and 6 and 10 against teams over 500. Are you panicking or having patience with this Rays team?
I'm starting to get itchy. I think it's going to be a panic situation very quickly if we're not careful. I think you talk to me again at this time in June, around the end of June, it'll be a lock. I'll know one way or the other.
So I'm panicking at this point because this team didn't finish the season well last year. They started really hot, and like we said, they had such a big lead that you can't win a division in May, but you can certainly lose it. But they came really close to like clinching that. I don't want to say clinching, but like having that division wrapped up.
Pretty locked in, yeah.
Because they were so hot to start the season that they were able to ride that through some really, really tough stretches. And those tough stretches are carrying over into this season. I would be panicking if I was the Rays. I'd be looking to deal and either punt on the season and look forward to next year, or see if there are some, because they have prospects. Of course, they have prospects.
So of course, they always do.
Maybe send off a prospect or two, maybe 3 for somebody who can come in as a difference maker for this team and help get them over the hump, because they're right there. It's almost like any day it's going to click and then they'll be right there. That's
what I'm saying. That's why I'm not panicking or having patience all the way to the extreme yet. I think that if it weren't for interleague play, if we didn't have so much interleague play in this more balanced schedule, then we would be panicking. It would be hardcore panic central. But they're not playing as many games against the AL East teams right now, and there's so much, and neither are the AL East teams, right? Nobody is.
Right.
So for that reason, I'm sitting in the middle, but on the panic side. And I agree with you. In about a month, we're going to know whether we need to buy an impact player or if we need to sell off and punt. It's exactly what I think. But I need another month to decide.
Yeah, the reason I'm panicking is that 2 games feels really big for the Rays.
Rightly so.
That 2-game deficit. So
yeah.
Okay, let's go to the Central.
Okay.
Minnesota Twins, 26-23, over 500, 3-7 in the last 10, +5 run differential, 9-17 against teams over 500. Now they rattled off what was a 12-game winning streak, but then they also went on a 7-game losing streak. Are you having panic? Are you having patience? Or are you panicking with the Twins?
Straight up panic.
Yeah,
Rome is burning or whatever. Like it's all. Yeah, I'm panicking. 6.5 games back in the division, 2 solid teams ahead of them. I don't know.
Well, they're dead even with the wild card. I forgot to mention that.
They are, but
a lot of that. So
the division is lost. The division, I know we can't say the division's lost yet. Like it's May, but
right.
We're running out of time.
Yeah, they could find themselves in an insurmountable hole come the beginning of June. Because the Guardians and the Royals, I don't think are going to start losing anytime soon.
No. I think this one will be decided by the break for Minnesota.
Yeah. You think they'll be ready to sell off pieces by the break? I mean, you got to be close to anyway because the deadline's coming up. But
that's
do you
right.
think they'll be selling by the break or after the break? After the break,
but
they will have made up their mind by then.
They'll have decided, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they're looking at spreadsheets right now, and they're getting stuff ready. By the end of June, going into the All-Star break, they'll have spreadsheet cells highlighted.
Yeah. Okay, I would go to the Astros, but they are a clear case of patience because
easy. Yeah.
If you were panicking earlier, you were panicking way too early. Absolutely have patience with this team.
And
they're coming around.
For sure.
A little bit. I think everybody was. You see a team go down 12 games under 500 that early. You're like, it's still early, but that's ugly.
Super ugly.
So, but they're only 4.5 back in the division. So, not going to panic at all with the Astros.
Even if they lose 4 games between now and, or 3 games between now and Tuesday, still not going to be a big change. I'm not panicking.
They're a team that has proven historically that they can rattle off a bunch in a row and when everybody else is struggling and be fine.
Yep.
So, okay, let's jump over to the NL East. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's stay in the AL West for just a minute. I want to talk about the Rangers.
Yeah, I was hoping. Rangers. Yeah.
Okay. 24-27, 3 games back is all. 3 games back in the wild card. 2-8 in their last 10. Lost 4 in a row. -7 run differential, and 7-11 against teams over 500. What are you doing with this team? Panic or patience?
I'm hitting the red button. Hit the red button. Call the fire department. Put out the flames, so you can salvage something for the deadline. I'm panicking so hard. I have totally sold off my hopes for this team. I don't know what they can do other than try really hard to get good deals.
So you're going to sell off pieces, or are you going to try to make a move to bring in an impact player to turn things around?
Selling a couple. I'm not selling the farm. I'm not going to break the whole thing down. But I'm going to make some great if I'm them, I'm making some key moves for next season, and I'm looking down at the prospect pipeline, trying to figure out who's coming up at the same time. See if I can get the stars to align for 2025. That's what I'm doing.
They have a couple guys who are, well, I don't know. I think they brought up most of their top guys. And maybe that's the part of the problem that we're having this year.
Maybe is they're young.
It's not the same cohesion that was there last year. So
For sure it's not.
Maybe they're just trying to sort stuff out this early. I don't know. But
I'm looking at 2025 already.
And see, my thing is that like I'm seeing how the Mariners have played so far this season, and I'm having patience.
With the Rangers?
Yeah.
Oh.
As the Rangers, I'm having patience because I'm like, this team hasn't been overly dominant. Yes, they're sitting in first place, but they're gettable. Because if that pitching, yeah. Because if you're like, okay, the pitching will get tired in August, and if those bats don't pick up, they're gonna fall right off the mountain. Right?
Oh yeah.
So
I agree with
the Rangers, I'm absolutely sitting back and just relaxing and trying to get myself right, having patience with everybody, and saying, you know what, if we turn this around mid-June, early July, we're good. We're good in the division.
That's what I want to think and believe, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I want to be wrong because I don't want to see Houston take the division again. But
I don't either.
But I genuinely do not believe the Rangers are going to push for the division, and I don't think that they're going to make it to the wild card.
I hope not.
I'm just saying.
The division part. I hope not.
Right. He says the Mariners.
I want the Mariners to click and run away with it.
Anyway. Yeah, right.
Okay, now let's jump over to the NL East.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Atlanta Braves. This feels weird because they're 29-18.
Right.
But they're 6 games back, plus 5 in the wild card race. 5-5 in their last 10, plus 49 run differential. 12-12 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
This is the epitome of patience. I don't even know if you can call it being patient, because I think what they're doing. Remember at the end of last season, that break, that bye series that they just had to coast through and wait. Everybody was like, that killed us. And then everyone was saying, even we were saying, I wonder if there's a way to position yourself as number 2 in the division, but superior in the wild card standings. And whether they're doing it deliberately or not, I don't know. I sincerely doubt that that's what they're going for. But the fact that they might land there is pretty awesome. And so
Could you imagine?
I have no doubt that they are going to be just fine. They're going to make the playoffs. But this is a sort of incidental scenario with the Phillies having been so good lately, that this, like, literally they're going to be the Lance Armstrong, letting everybody cut the wind in front of them. No big deal.
While doping.
Whoa, easy.
No, it's funny though, because that's almost like that takes tanking to a different level. That is like strategic tanking, right? That let's win a bunch of games, but not too many.
Right.
Not so many that we're get that bye week, right? That we want to go and.
I honestly think that they're not doing that, but that they're going to end up there, and that's fabulous for them.
That would be the death of the bye. If the Braves came in and just dominated everybody because they didn't have a bye, that would be the death of the bye round. They had to figure out something else.
And honestly, we all need that anyway, so that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, NL Central. Let's go. I don't want to talk about the Cubs because the Cubs are just fine. The Cubs are just fine. Yeah. Let's go to the Cardinals. 23-26, 5 games back, 2 back in the wild card, 8-2 in their last 10. Yeah. On a 3-game, indeed, winning streak.
Yep.
And minus 43 in run differential. 10-13 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
This goes against everything I know about them, but I'm having patience. This team, I don't know what it is, but the numbers do not tell the story of what this team is becoming capable of. I think that everything we've seen up till now, for the most part, has been more or less atrocious. I'm thinking we have culture problems in the clubhouse. I'm thinking we have performance issues on the field. All kind of weird going on until now. Something has clicked. It's working. I think that's going to continue to work. I don't know what that means yet. I think it's an enigma how that will all pan out, but I'm not panicking anymore.
I don't think so either, because guys who and this is the thing is I feel like this team is built in a way that you have to have patience. That Paul Goldschmidt cannot be this bad for an entire season. Nolan
No
Arenado
way.
cannot be this bad for an entire season.
No way.
You've got a bunch of talent, another team with a bunch of talent that just isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And it's like, well, we didn't do anything last year, so if we do something this year, that's great. If we don't do something this year, then it's like, we'll figure it out next year. Right? Because much of the roster was the same, other than the last farewell tour they got guys they brought for their pitching staff, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, either we click and do really well this year, or it just doesn't happen again this year, and so we look forward to next year. So it's like, just write it out. Just write out what you've got. Don't make any major moves, anything like that. Just have patience all the way through the season. It is what it is with the Cardinals. Let's talk about the Reds.
Okay.
So the Reds are 20-30, 8.5 games back, 5.5 back in the wild card, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row, -11 run differential, and 8-18 against teams over 500. Are you panicking or having patience with the Reds?
I'm still going to have patience. Stuff's going to start clicking, and part of it will be that the Pirates will fall, and that will bring up Cincinnati. That's what I think is going to happen. So, I don't know how to project what that will mean after the break, going into the playoffs. I have no idea, but it's not Rome is not burning in Cincinnati or whatever. Like, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to have patience with this team. And honestly, if we were to go talk about the Pirates for the exact same reasons, I'm going to have patience. The Pirates' problem is very tangible. You know exactly what it is. They have a bad bullpen.
Yep.
Straight up. That's what it is. Because I was looking real quick as I was looking at the Reds. The Pirates are 23-28, 6 back in the division, 3 back in the wild card, 5-5 in their last 10, which might be who they are. Just a 500 team the whole way, right? But they're 11-13 against teams over 500.
My problem with the Pirates is that -31 run differential. But the offense is day-to-day hot and cold. And you can't advance in the standings very much with a hot and cold day-to-day bat. You just can't.
Yeah, it's tough. But the offense is there. It's certainly there. Andrew McCutchen has had a revival this year. I don't know what's going on there. That dude's hitting leadoff home runs 3 times a week.
Yeah, so. I don't know what it is. But that's what I think. I think everybody in that lineup is capable, and I think sometimes it just doesn't show up that day.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel about the Reds.
Right.
Absolutely capable, but they're both really young overall. And so that might be why we're seeing where we're at right now. So maybe it just isn't their year. Who's to say? Okay, the NL West. Time will tell, indeed. Time after time. NL West.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not talk about the Padres because I think we're okay there. The Giants, Los Gigantes, 25-26 overall, 7.5 back in the division, 1 back in the wild card, 7-3 in their last 10. They've won back-to-back games. It's 2 in a row for those keeping track. -24 run differential and 6-14 against teams over 500. Panic or patience?
Panic.
Yes. Hit that red button. Big time.
I'm panicking.
One of these times we need to have an actual red button that we hit.
Yeah. Those moves they made in the offseason were terrific. And I don't know how it has gone so poorly thus far. That is astonishing. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about San Francisco that would be redeeming. I know they're only 1 game back in the wild card. I got it. But Arizona is going to pick it up. Like, they just are. And if San Francisco doesn't, then they're going to get got. And that's going to be a huge problem. That's honestly, that's what I'm worried about. I don't think San Francisco has a chance of catching San Diego. I think San Diego is just going to keep powering on. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to rise way above that 500 mark. But I think Arizona is going to do the same thing, and so we're going to have a Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks situation, or we're going to have a Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres situation. 1, 2, 3. I don't know which it's going to be yet.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I'm
Because I think
panicking.
that goes into our next. I'm absolutely panicking with the Giants. So you talk about all the guys the Giants brought in during the offseason, and it was kind of like, was it last year, 3 It was, no, I don't know. It was a couple years ago. You were talking about how Brian Cashman was collecting baseball cards. And that's kind of
Yep.
what the Giants did. It was almost like, if we bring in all these big names, the sum of their parts will do a great, great job. Jorge Soler had a killer year last year. He could not have had the timing be better to come into free agency after his year that he had in Miami.
Oh yeah.
But he has been underwhelming in San Francisco.
Yep.
Matt
So is
Chapman.
Matt Chapman.
Yes, exactly right. It's almost like the Blue Jays were like, nah, there's a
They were
reason.
like, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take him. They all knew something we didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say this, there were certain people who talked about Matt Chapman's decline. Like I
There
saw
were.
on like social media and stuff, but I was like, but it's still Matt Chapman. Like he's still like a young dude but it was rapid. And
Yeah,
who
it
knows,
was.
maybe he will flip things around here this season. But yeah, I'm panicking if I'm the Giants. I'm looking to make a move or two, and especially since the Blake Snell thing has not worked out thus far.
Dude, I just looked up Blake Snell's stats.
He's on the IL still, isn't he?
4 games pitched, 19 earned runs, 11.40 is his ERA. His whip is over 2.07 whip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that was
I know there's been an injury thing, but either way, it's not
and that
working
could be
out.
because he skipped spring training.
Oh, how could
because
that not
his-
be possible?
Yeah.
Or
Hey.
related, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last team is the Diamondbacks. And really, we addressed that. We're absolutely having patience with this team because we've seen what they can do. They didn't make a lot of moves in the offseason, but everything they did was a legitimate upgrade. And they're missing a couple pieces still. They're still missing Eduardo Rodriguez, who, when he comes in, that's going to be a lock. Jordan Montgomery has been a stud for them. He's been really good. Zach Gallen has not been Zach Gallen consistently, but it's still early.
Yeah.
Although,
like we keep saying, it's getting a little late to be saying it's still early. We're getting there.
Yeah, it is getting to be late to still be early. And I need Corbin Carroll to remember how to play baseball.
Bro. Did you see him go for an inside the Parker the other day and get thrown out by Ellie De La Cruz?
No, but not surprised.
Dude, Ellie De La Cruz unlocked a 100-mile-an-hour relay to the catcher.
Yeah, and it was a strike.
Oh, bro, not just a strike, but it was like a bazooka. Like his arm moved at a normal rate of speed, and then by the time he got to his wrist flick and release, that ball accelerated like 6 times faster than his arms was moving. It was like a video game. We should show the clip if we can. It was absolutely nuts.
That's fantastic. Speaking of Corbin Carroll, though, did you see the play he made at the wall? I think it was last night.
Yes.
On Thursday night, where he goes and makes the catch, then immediately throws a handful of seeds in his mouth that he was holding while he made while he was making the play.
Yeah. Savage.
I was like, that is the best baseball play we will ever see.
And he was so cool about it.
It reminded me of my buddy who in high school would mow through an entire mouthful of seeds every single batter. So he'd be up there and he'd be set and he'd be spitting seeds off to the side, and then he'd throw. And as I'm throwing the ball back to him, he's got his glove out, just spitting seeds. Yeah. Then he gets him. And then he strikes the dude out, as he's taking his lap around the mound, he reaches into his back pocket and throws some more in. As much of his routine as anything else. Looked like Brickma.
Brickma, yeah, exactly. All right, let's miss him out.
Let the big dog eat. But Baseball family, let us know what you think about panic or patience. Are there teams that we had panicking that should be having patience or vice versa? Let us know down in the comments. You can always send us an email, baseballtogetherpod@gmail.com, whether that's about panic or patience or anything else. You have a question, comment, concern, snide remark you want to send our way, baseballtogetherpod@gmail.com is the best way to do it. Also in the comments, people don't seem to have a problem with that either, and we don't.
Correct.
So
Comments are awesome
that's
on
cool.
YouTube, and that's the best place to like and subscribe. That's where we post the most content, and it is always available.
100% all the time. Baseball family, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you next week.